Greetings, everyone. I'm Paul Everton, the host here at the Truth Table. It's been almost a year now since we begun, and a lot has happened. We've had a lot of conversations with politicians, nurses, and covering all sorts of topics from religion to um, um, what's in the water and the rain. But if you like the content and you'd like to see more, please feel free to subscribe, like, and donate if you can, and become a member. These things will help the algorithms, and they will help keep this show going. I want to thank Marnie and Patricia for your donations. You've extended the life by a few months for the Truth Table on this stream. So thank you very much. I appreciate it for keeping this boat afloat. If you'd like more content, then please feel free to engage and involve yourself in this show. I appreciate every one of you. Thank you for joining me here. And that's the intro that I did. I'm Paul Everton, the host of the Truth Table. This is episode 84. My guest is Baret Tounian, who's the creator of Activator. Let me just show you here. It's pretty fantastic artwork on this channel, but you can find him online. This is his website. You can also find him on TikTok, Activator, and you can find him on Instagram under Bio. I think it's Baret Tounian, but it says Activator there. Let me just follow you right now. And then, of course, we have at Baret K on YouTube. So I've watched a few of the videos, very informative, lots of very interesting guests. And let's see if I've forgotten anything. You can also find him on Facebook as well. And I think I've covered just about everything. This was the last show I was watching here. But the show is basically, it helps and investigates soul evolution, which I really feel aligned with Baret, almost like we're soul brothers, like we're rainbow warriors. We're the rainbow warriors. We're helping people to raise their frequencies and, preparing for the golden age. So we're going to meet Baret, find out about his show, his plans for the future. And if you're watching on YouTube, please subscribe. I need 500 subscribers, and I'm going to bug every single show trying to get that goal of 500 so I can have super chats and all that fun stuff. So we'll meet Baret right after this. Thank you all for joining me here on the 84th episode of the Truth Table. I appreciate all the followers, the likes, the comments, and feel free to comment. And we'll try to get to your questions and answer them the best we can to the best of our capacity. Baret is really trying to raise the frequency of mankind, which is an honorable goal, and teaching people how to become a galactic human. Welcome to the show, Baret. Thanks for coming.
Thank you, Paul. It's an honor to be in your beautiful studio, and it's a real privilege to be with your beautiful viewers out there as well. And I'd just like to take the opportunity, Brother Paul, to thank Jesse Howe from the Missing Link, because he's been one of my great inspires of podcasting, because I started podcasting just over 2 years ago, and he's been such a amazing inspiration, and I was very privileged to interview him as well, and he interviewed me as well, and also the opportunity to hook up with your beautiful soul energy, brother. And just for the viewers out there, we're quite saddened by what's happened to his show at the moment. So I'm doing an activation, sending Jesse and his beautiful partner Angeline lots of love and support, because this truly is a testing time for the planet at the moment.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah, it's it's very sad, but I personally feel intuitively he will bounce back, and because he like yourself, Paul, he's a true warrior of truth, and I know that the support and love that's around him at the moment will keep him in good stead. But thank you again. Yeah, I mean, I've watched your show on numerous occasions, especially the one you interviewed Jesse not that long ago, and
Mhm.
it, it, I really enjoyed that, brother. Thank you for that.
Well, I love your mission to raise people's frequencies, because that's really I think that's where we're the same. Like our core is based on love. It's really it's only love of of the creator would really push people to risk everything to try and help others. And I think that's I I don't like to boost myself, but I think it's an important role. I just don't think I think we're all equal. And something about the evolution that you know that where we're on the same page is um, there was tests done on water crystals, and I'll show you. Every time you send you speak words, God is the word. So when you say words uh, to water, it reflects it in when it crystallizes. And these are just some of the different shapes that water takes form when you say these words. So I think that is fascinating, because my research on this here on the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, which is Buddhism, water is one of the eight components of God's material energy. So it just shows how we're mostly water. So God is completely involved in our world, in our life. And when we speak words, the water within us responds and will reflect and change according to whether we're giving love or we're giving hate. The water inside of our bodies and inside of the bodies of those we're speaking to will also be impacted by our words. And the Bhagavad Gita is the only book that actually says what the material energy of God is, which is fascinating. Earth, water, fire, air, space, mind, intellect, and ego. And that list is so fascinating to me. And
Absolutely.
and that's just part of my search of trying to find out who the creator is, what the creator is, and that's the only religion that actually gives that information. So if you don't look at other books, you're not going to expand your understanding of the creator and our purpose, which is really the thrust of what you do as well, is trying to raise people's frequencies so they can um, become who they're meant to be.
Absolutely, Paul. I mean, I personally, it's to remember who you are, realizing that you are a divine being, and being in that space where you hold a particular frequency, that when you are in that authenticity, and you're in joy, and your body is dancing, and you're in a place where you're balanced, your left hemisphere, your right hemisphere comes into that union, that place of unison and balance, and
Mhm.
no longer do you have this urge to want to point fingers and want to attack and say that this hand is stronger than that hand, or black's better than white, when genuinely you're in that space where you feel very much at home. You've actually tuned in to the heart, not so much the mind, and you move everything into that sacred space, and one is then that becomes impeccable with the words, where
Mhm.
the bioactivator is a living frequency that awakens, remembers, restores inner balance, and dissolves fear by amplifying light, and
Mhm.
to help become the solution rather than the symptom. So when you're aligned, your consciousness, the way you, like Paul was just mentioning about water, because everything has consciousness. So
Mhm. Yep.
it's connection that you have. Obviously, water being very, very powerful, but elements. So we have this wonderful symbiotic relationship with life, and then
Yeah.
we leave beautiful markers, don't we? Um,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
is it raising? Is it lowering? So it's all about raising the game, and it begins with self first, because you're the one that's going to amplify that. There are, yeah, Paul, I mean, there are many modalities, brother, as you probably be aware. There's many techniques. I mean, I'm happy to run a few here with our beautiful viewers out there. um, I can only share what ultimately is working for myself.
Yeah.
I'm very conscious of my breath, um, because it removes things. We, we do have a tendency, and I'm a little bit fallible at times, where we create energetic clutter. And so when we become the consciousness of the breath, we can start removing things um, that may be certain implants that don't, it's not necessarily natural. Because what the other thing with the bioactivator is, um, there's two types of everything I find in life. You have the organic and the inorganic. So it's nice to be able to differentiate what is real and what isn't real. And then you base your moment in the precious now moment, where the reason why you're in the now moment, when you bring the two hemispheres into the union of the I am, is because you really enjoy this version of who you are. So
Mhm.
some people live in the past because they don't like the present, or they live in the future because they don't like. But when you anchor yourself in this now moment, you live in that gracefulness and that gratitude of thank you for all the lessons that I've endured. And so I'm really, really excited. And when you're excited, the pH will rise. So alkalinity will kick in, and
Yes.
acidic, you just, even when you breathe in and breathe out, people will be affected. Not just people, everything that comes in contact with you. So it's but there's so many other modalities. For example, movement, stretching, walking. I mean, I enjoy interacting with nature, trees, sunlight.
Absolutely.
So
Mhm.
there's quite a good array of things that one can do to raise their frequency. You know.
I find I'm learning every day, and I'm loving life more at my age and appreciating it more. Um, but I feel like the more I learn, the less I know. I mean, because it just opens a door to a whole plethora of more information. But I mean, I love to be challenged, and so one thing that you're saying on your website here is activate your biological computer.
Hmm.
Now, there's one thing. What we're dealing with in today's age is a biodigital convergence, where they have these smart nanobots, the mRNA, the mod RNA, self-replicating. I mean, self-replicating is a little scary. I mean, does it stop replicating or just go on forever? Is it going to start coming out of people's orifices, when it runs out of space? So, I mean, can you explain to me what you mean by activating the biological computer?
Absolutely, Paul. I mean, from my take, when we were talking a little bit earlier about what is organic and what is inorganic, for me there is a thing called organic Wi-Fi, and which the biological computer needs to raise its level of consciousness from being average to becoming super conscious. And the whole purpose of that is, I call it the cosmic energy, which is all around us. And you'll be able to channel into this incredible frequency that is all around us. And I'm just here to remind people. I'm not here to teach anybody how to do certain things. I'm not here to impose or cause harm or loss in any shape or form. I'm here just to help the connection. Bioactivator is like a bridge where we take this so-called average person that is in survival mode and
Right.
into a place where the operating system is for
Hmm.
abundance. Because um, I'm sure I'm not disappointing, I would say, high percentage, high percentage of our viewers, that scarcity is a myth. It was created in order to keep us captive, and
Yeah.
it is a bit of a challenge because the pain is real. I mean, people are going through whatever the inadequacies are in life.
Yep.
We are going through different variables, different forms of pain, and it is very, very powerful, the pain. But what we must replace it with is connection to self, to understand who you really are. Because if you open your eyes every day and not know why, then you're kind of on a hamster wheel mentality. It's just a merry-go-round, and everything around you is decompare. It's like we're in like compartments and boxes. And in order to be able to come out of these boxes, we must try to understand the essence of who we are and what we are. And then everything else begins to dissolve, because everything on reflection is coming from within. So it's a lot of it is inner work,
Yeah.
where you have that connection to self. And then what I'm noticing right now, Paul, more than ever, is authenticity being in the forefront, and 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 what I've noticed that people who are pretending to be something that they're not, or shall I say, fake beings, um, they have a tendency of malfunctioning. And I don't go out of my comfort. There is a zone I don't need to impose on, if even if people are fake or pretending to be in a position of power or whatever that they're doing, which, as we
Mm-hmm.
know, Paul, there's a lot of causing a lot of harm. So what I do, rather than vocaling anything, it's a frequency that communicates through me, and
Mm-hmm.
it showers people around wherever it may be, and it will harmonize and neutralize, or it will trigger them. So it's one or the other, and then people get triggered. And I do everything in my capacity not to overwhelm, or I don't need to do anything on a physical level.
Mm-hmm.
Um, it's an
True.
emotional and a spiritual
Yeah,
situation now.
and vibrational and frequencies. So you can love someone, even an animal, and they can sense it because they're very sensitive to frequencies.
Absolutely.
Even smell, their sense of smell is powerful. They can smell across the street. I think my secret is forgiving people or those who have trespassed against me.
Yeah.
You know, and that could include government officials. Forgiving them and loving them in whatever capacity they are in, that removes any fear and allows me to grow spiritually and strengthens my spirituality and raising people's frequency. I haven't really been doing because like Facebook wise, I'm posting so much negative stuff because I'm only getting negative, but I'm sharing information that I think is important to my fellow man, like fellow Canadians, and things that I think they need to know, and to deflect from or get away from certain things, and to understand what these papers that have been written, what they say, and what the plan is. I don't know, what is it like in Austria, where you are. Do you feel there's a positive, general positive feeling about the political establishment there?
Not really, but what tends to happen is it's an activation that you hold very dear to your heart. So the temptation is always there, because I'm not really into television or tabloids or mainstream. I'm conscious aware of the level of programming that takes place, and I understand it is very, very testing for the many. But it's like, if I can use this as an example, I question everything, Paul. Even when we talk about the population of Austria or
Hmm.
Canada or America, because I don't know about you, Paul, but I personally have not done a head count. So hand on heart, I don't. I'd rather say I don't know to something than pretend that I know. All I know is that the figures are exaggerated. I feel that the population is a lot less than, because the system that, and I'm very careful with words, the power that was before, very, very good in creating illusions, like to make us feel that the world is overcrowded, because
Yes.
they create these cities and they pack everyone into the cities, and so you get this
Hmm.
feeling that, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of cars, there's a lot of people, but I'd say a vast percentage of the world is rather empty.
Yeah,
So
it's a big lie, and it's a terrible lie, because there's lots of earth to grow food on, Everyone on the planet could have an acre of land in Australia and have nobody else on any of the other continents. That's how much land there is just in Australia, and there would be land left over. So yes, overpopulation is a criminal talking point. It
Yeah.
is a population talking point. This is not a representative talking point. So they claim to be representative. They have titles like honorable, but depopulation is not honorable. They're not helping anyone. And just because you're rich doesn't mean you're responsible for the world and you're responsible to making the big decisions. You know, and that is a fallacy of these rich people who think that they were put in their power by the creator. They consider themselves gods. The Committee of 300, they think they're gods, like little small g, but they're not. They're not. They're fallible and they're evil to want to get rid of people. They really are. Everyone
Yeah.
has a purpose.
Yeah.
Everyone is equally valuable and has a purpose. Even if you don't know what your purpose is, there is one. You have value, or you wouldn't be here. And that includes animals. Genesis, the rainbow covenant goes to animals, the firefly, dogs, cats, all living. They all have the same thing we have, a divine light. The firefly is the only animal that we can see the light. Now, if we could see the light within ourselves, life would be totally different. We would have a totally different perspective. But there is
I'm
a
glad.
light.
Yeah, I'm glad that you've raised this point because um, words have limitations. Because what we have, on the planet, we have languages. But for me, the ultimate language is telepathy. And this is what Bioactivator is encouraging, inspiring more and more people to connect to this telepathic frequency. Because it is a universal language that you'll be able to communicate with all beings the way I see it, not just limited to a few. So I understand the purpose of creating the divisions. But what I don't want to do, if you said to me, Barry, I have a question, where do you live? I can give you a high frequency answer. I can give you a low frequency answer. Now, a low frequency answer would be I live in Austria, like you live in Canada. Tom lives
Mhm.
in America, and Jack lives in Germany. But a high frequency answer, we would say we live on Mother Earth. Okay,
Yes.
so
Yes.
it's how you want to see the
Mm.
world. For me, I don't call it religion, but there is one flag, which is Mother Earth.
Hmm.
And for me, it is all about love and the love frequency. Because talking about what we were saying earlier about why people have gone out of alignment, shall we say, because there's been interference,
There has, yes.
massive interference. So when you're balanced, you don't judge that this is good, this is bad, and you stop pointing fingers, which is very difficult. And I must say it's been one hell of a coaster ride for me. So I'm not sitting here pretending it's been an easy ride. But I cannot, again, Paul, if I may, I can only share with our beautiful viewers what's really working for me, because we have a thing called a biofeedback. So how you affect people, animals, they will react in a certain way. So again, are you lowering people's frequencies or are you raising people's? Because the bioactivator also um, wants to inspire people, because we're talking about Christ consciousness. Uh, and
Yeah.
and so it's all about taking ownership, responsibility, and accountability. And and not requiring a savior to come and knock at your door. It's about you doing it yourself. So bioactive helps in providing the tools necessary to activate this process. So it's all about independence rather than dependencies. I've got nothing against, well, I say I don't, but as long as they're not causing harm, and some are. But whether you're a guru, you see what gurus, I'm not going to say all gurus are the same. It's pretty horrible of me to say that. But a certain percentage, what the tendency is, one would take you out of a small box and put you into a bigger box. And you're very grateful. You think, wow, I've got a bigger garden here. I've got more space to roam and what have you. But you still have walls. And what Bioactivator says, we don't need to do that. We don't need to have these walls. And because you don't need to be complying. And I think the greatest, I'm just reminding people of the real intrinsic value. For me, it's never been gold, silver, Bitcoin, brick and mortar. It's the real currency, the real intrinsic value is energy and how we energize. And very soon, um, um, I can see mentors coming. I think governments will be replaced, and I think we'll have mentorship for about a year or so, just to help settle because the truth venom is incredible at the moment. It's just really opening up, and it will overwhelm quite a lot of people, and so the whole purpose of mentorship really is, and you will know, because what we're saying about we will glow in the dark. People will see us because it's about frequency again. Because when your credentials is how are you affecting people? I again, sorry to sound, we keep repeating, but are you a game changer for people? And that game changer is giving the people, the average person, which is a vast percentage of the world's population, to say, guys, ladies, children, everybody listening right now, you're not average. It's just the level of conditionality. It's just that majority of people have been so dumbed down by all the artificial implants and things like that. But I'm not the only one. There's many like who and yourself, and there's so many beings out there. We're coming into alliance at the moment, so we're holding this very powerful frequency. So, and very soon, if your intention is not pure, it's going to be very difficult for you to function. So I'm really seriously, I'm really confident in what I'm saying. That very soon, I don't want to say next week. Could be now.
Yeah.
It could be next week or in the month's time. But we're getting very close, because people generally are fed up. They're very upset, and the anger is causing acidity, but we're going to help people to say, we're going to find a way. This is a miracle in itself, where we're going to try ways of forgiving a lot of these beings, because they were led, and some of them were brainwashed to go astray. So
Yeah, I think so.
this is a big challenge for people.
I agree. Um, do you believe the powers that be are deliberately trying to keep us in a low frequency to avoid us from evolving? Do you think they fear that? I
I would
do.
say, yeah. Yes, yes. They do fear the fact that, because what's the opposite of? Fear. There's lack of love, energy present. So we often condemn what we don't understand, because it's survival mode mechanism. It's low
Yeah,
vibration frequency.
absolutely.
What I do personally, um, it's almost saying I'm allowing this to happen. I don't want to interfere with this because I'm not here to dissolve the crap. I don't need to. I'm here to upgrade. I'm here to say, okay, it's not good. It's causing harm. It's causing loss. It is imposing on what sovereignty is. But let's leave that alone.
You want to
It's
empower mankind,
yeah. It's very
give
messy. It's very
and
messy,
restore.
Paul. Yeah.
Yeah, oh, it is. I love your website too. Tranquil
It's
sustainability. I just love the words
it's
you use.
thank
Stillness
you.
awakens. Oh, your writing is amazing too.
Thank
Inspirational to words. So I would suggest anybody out there to check out uh, barettunian.com and go through it. It's very fascinating. If you want to move out of the negative and boost up to the positive, we're in that the golden age, and it's time for us to pull pull us pull our brothers and sisters out of the water from drowning in the negative vibrations that they're being pummeled with. And you and I both can see it happening, and we don't like it. And that's what really got us doing what we do.
Absolutely.
Really, I,
Yeah.
I really feel like I'm doing God's work, speaking from the heart, speaking the truth, how I feel, sharing what I've learned, and bringing guests like yourself on here to just try to um, truth bomb people that have been absolutely activated by a television to be in a negative frame of mind. And it's very hard. Even Facebook has a lot of negative information. It's hard to handle when you're trying to be positive. So this is where you can find Barrett's site and engage and just see what he has to say. And of course, come to the truth table because these are the kind of guests that I want. That will help mankind become what we were intended to be.
Absolutely.
And I'm going to be a guest also on your show.
Looking forward, brother. I'm not used to being into. I'm enjoying it. I really am. Thank you so much for the opportunity to share sacred space with beautiful viewers, listeners out there. See, again, if I may, for me personally, and it's all about being guardians now, not taking like nobody has the right to own truth or sacred lands, and it's to think that people can own water, rivers, and stuff like this is we know that's very unnatural. So, like I said, it is collapsing. I feel it in my energy. It is collapsing as we speak. The control mechanism
Mhm.
is getting weaker by the minute. But it's very important to hold space for the manipulators because, like I said, shady characters have taken office, and and we can neutralize that and harmonize that by being alkaline. We have to be very conscious of what we ingest in terms of not just the food aspect, but what we listen to, and pay attention and focus on your intention. You know, the intention is so important. Um, I'm very, when this massive activation, the ability to see, remove the mask, to see behind what's going on. People are very brave. They have these brave faces, and often they smile and they laugh as well. But a lot of people are broken. So when I had this amazing ability to see for the first time, I got very emotional. I actually broke down in tears many times, seeing how people are really suffering. So I am very gentle, and we need to be careful. We need to be conscious of, to be very select with our words, um, to leave the place not just the way we find it, because the way we find certain things, it is disturbed. The peace has been disturbed, but we can neutralize it. We can harmonize it, because Paul also shared with us water, how um, it has memory, it can listen to what your frequency is. So everything, thank you for that. So to be in joy, um, to be happy is so important, because I don't think you're doing much in life if you're not happy.
Look who we
So,
got a message.
oh,
Oh,
Jesse, ah,
we love you too.
bless him. I mean, I don't.
Wonderful. He
Yeah, I
just
mean,
he just raised my frequency right there.
uh, is a massive, massive game changer, and I know that he's having a time out at the moment, and
Mhm.
and when he comes back, I'm not saying we're going to see another Jesse or a new Jesse, but it'll be a Jesse that's not going to be like a victim Jesse. I'm not saying that he feels victimized at the moment. I personally think, without getting into the gory details, some people get just to sidetrack, crucified for speaking the truth, you know. And
Exactly.
he's very brave. He's brave, and I salute him with every cell in my body, and I know that I would give up my bed for him tomorrow morning, and know that I'd have home. I'd make room for Jesse, and you, Paul, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers out there. And that's, we need to come together, everyone, and really be the empath, the feeling, the connection of brotherhood and sisterhood and what it's all about. But we have to also be careful, because how we comply, because I genuinely believe what energizes the old system is coin to Caesar. And that's a term that a lot of people use when they're talking about how how taxing the system is.
Hmm.
Um,
And they
it,
cut the
it,
coins.
yeah, I mean, the average person, because super rich, they don't pay tax, as we know. But maybe we need to find a way of standing up to the tyranny and saying, well, look, you can see, I don't want to use specific words, but so much has happened in the last 5 years as well, which is unacceptable. I'm sorry. I mean, it really is. We mustn't accept this, and especially what's happening to our children on the planet as well. The education system, as well as a few other areas, massive gray areas, need really looking at. Personally, like I said, we need to rise above all this. We don't need to dismantle this. We just need to rise above it, and hold that frequency, and then see how everything else, the fakeness of everything that's not real, begin to malfunction. And we don't want it to malfunction just like that, because it's going to throw an
No,
imbalance. We want to purge. If you like, if you're having a detox, it's um, it's not good to overwhelm the whole system. But yeah, look
and
at these
yeah,
words.
that's the beauty of what we're saying here is how words can affect the
Mm,
crystallizing of water by raising our frequencies and rising above. That will affect others around us in the same way as it does with water, because they're mostly water too. So if we're talking in love, then we are raising their frequencies internally, you know, without them
Brother,
even realizing it.
yeah, I was going to say, if I may quickly as well, the word thank you um, is so empowering. It's incredible because well, I was in Cyprus last year, I don't like going to hospitals, but Dad goes to dialysis and stuff. So, but the energy there, people, it's very low. People are, very sick people there and whatever, and there's a tendency not enough people smiling. So if you can start smiling, and I actually go out of my way to thank people, because it's very difficult being a doctor or nurse. I know that many people condemn doctors because they don't actually, not every doctor, but most doctors would, I don't know what percentage, but they never treat the cause. They only work with the symptoms, you know. But what I'm saying is that they're being pressured. It's inexcusable as far as I'm concerned. But whatever, it's like people allow this to continue. But like I said, what diffuses, what harmonizes, neutralizes is I question the moral compass of people, but I don't dive in straight away. You have to create warmth first because the
Yeah.
situation is cold as it is, and it's like ice. It will just break. It will just crack. So you just warm it up gently and create common ground. First thing
Yeah.
I would say to any doctor, thank you for because it's not easy being a doctor.
No.
I don't know how anyone can be a doctor. It's very testing. It's very challenging. It's like,
But it's also very dark because they're not taught naturopathic cures that exist. That they're completely blinded to that. All they have is, you know, basically poison, variations of poison to deal with symptoms.
well, I agree, and I think the biggest poisoning that's taken place is their moral compass has been
Yes.
removed. So
Yes.
what I do is, I mean, let me give you an example. I won't name drop, but I went to see my doctor during the pandemic, and I said, um, "You been? Have you been?" And he said, "Certainly not." And I said, "Why is that?" And he said, "Well, that's not a vaccine." And I said, oh, "Okay." So I thought, where's your moral compass? Do you not see that, people are getting hurt in the process? More than hurt, but I'm being choosy with our words here. But um,
Mhm.
so this individual started questioning himself. I don't need to go in because it's very sensitive. It's very, when people begin to awaken, um, the stench is deep. And when things begin to surface, usually I run away, not run away because I'm scared, is because I don't want to overwhelm the situation by being there because I've just triggered something. There's a slight delayed action there. And then it's like you drop a truth bomb. Boom. You don't have to just go out and leave the room. It's okay. You've done your job. You've dropped that bomb there. And you can see how it's impacted the individual. And this,
Mhm.
more and more people need to do this. This is taking ownership, accountability, and responsibility. We have to be responsible. And being responsible also means
100%.
not, I mean, it's like going out there with banners and things. I understand why people do it, but that's what the powers that were want you to do. Go out there and protest.
Mm.
Um, but I genuinely believe that the, the the actual knowing, the fact that you know the truth, you can destroy the agreement. You know,
Right.
because you because you're not energizing it anymore, brother. right? Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
um,
And
that's
we want to empower people. We want to empower you and show you as much as we can share to um, to prepare for what's coming. Something beautiful is coming. That's we've waited for a long time, and I mean, I've studied different religions, and scripturally, we're right on the doorstep to ending all of this. And then we hit the golden age, and the Pope, the conclave starts in 3 days. And Malachi predicted 112 popes, so this is the last pope. And we have the last president with Nostradamus, and all, because I've had my tentacles in everything I could find, because I want to be informed. And it's not that I put all my eggs in the basket. I take everything with a grain of salt, and that includes religions. I want to hear what they have to say, and then I use critical thinking, my gut instinct, and there are things I don't agree with. Just because I read the Quran doesn't mean I agree with it. I do not agree that God would say to beat your wife. Chapter
yeah,
4:3. And
yeah,
I also don't think God would say to kill your children for being disobedient, as in the Bible. So I mean, there are things in all the books that I don't agree with. The Gita, on the other hand, actually I didn't find anything that you know made me feel offset. I think mankind, powerful men, have injected themselves in religion and used it to control people, to keep them in a state of fear. And our purpose, I think, as rainbow warriors, is to get people out of that fear and show them that they can forgive their enemy, and they can be released from that. And it'll empower you to release that fear and to get rid of that fear and live in love, because I think we're intended to live in love and love each other.
absolutely.
We are intended to take our coat off and give it to someone without a coat that's cold, like a man taking his jacket off for a woman shivering. That is just that is who we are naturally. And we've been unnaturally brought into a lower frequency where we don't belong. So hopefully,
What you
we
just said is so
can do our
powerful,
part.
Paul, because since I've always worked with the laws of retribution. I genuinely know what goes around comes around. You reap what you sow, and kindness is a very powerful language, and it raises the frequency again. It begins with a simple smile, but you see, the smile needs to be genuine. It
Yeah.
needs to be in a place where you really do care, not pretending. Because, like, there's two ways you can do things: you do it conditionally, or you do it unconditionally. When you're mindful and your operating system is from the heart, the smile is everlasting. The smile, people won't forget your presence, and not just forget. It's like you're in servitude. You're I feel the greatest gift you can give someone is to feel their pain and to hold
Hmm.
that. And it gives them a jump start, and then, and then when authenticity is everywhere, they can detox and let go of the traumas. And boy, have we been traumatized. I mean,
Yeah.
it's an
Big time.
endless list. But again, coming out of that victimhood is one of the major stepping stones. And there's been
Yes.
for yeah, because it is a soul trip, and this is a biological computer, and this biological computer your soul is using in order to grow. Yes, I heard you say grow, because that's the whole point of incarnating here, and the test is enormous. And I generally believe these times, the soul warriors that are here, uh, they have incredible credentials to withstand the level of bullshit that we've had to endure.
Yes.
Uh,
And it's funny you say soul warriors, but like a native, I'm a part native Indian, and we our Hopi, our tradition, the ancient, we're called rainbow warriors,
yeah,
which is
yeah.
odd. Also, we say miigwech at the end of our prayer. Like when I
Wow.
pray, I end in miigwech, which is Ojibwe for thank you.
Mm.
So it's like completely aligned with you when you
Uh,
said thank you. So we thank
you know,
God. We don't say amen or in Jesus' name. We say thank you.
the interesting act, because playing with words, sometimes things may appear paradoxical, and words have, as we all know, limitations, but there is a unique frequency behind the words, and again, it's the intention. Need to pay attention to the intention, because is this person, who, whatever they're doing, what's their ulterior motive? Is it to hurt me? And usually people hurt people because their operating system again is in survival mode, and they've been hurt before, so they're kind of taking it out on other people, and that's been a vicious circle for a very long time.
Yep.
And the programming, and you know I can use all different fancy words, but let's just call entrapments. We've been trapped. So, but to release, to come out of this, really, it's to know yourself. Ultimately, know thyself, and to pay attention to the kind of yes, speaking from this present moment, because when you're anchored, because you say thank you for all the experiences, and it's very difficult to thank, because the pain has been very painful, and what's it done? It's helped me to evolve to a higher level of consciousness. Sometimes the currency we use to bring about great change is pain, but we must try to avoid suppressing it. And I understand why people do it, because they're like, it's not now, please. People take tablets, or they take alcohol, or they do drugs, or whatever, or psychedelics, and whatever you want to call it. But myself, I work with my pen. you know it's a gift. It's important to feel what does it feel like having this soul next to you. Because right now, Paul, we're having a soul to soul connection. When you remove all the labels, what are we left with? A unique frequency. This frequency is translating the scriptures, the codices, and things like that based on your level. Golden Hollow, I didn't get
Oh,
that one. I've got
that's
from
my
my heart.
brother. The first couple of episodes, he was with me, um,
Beautiful.
but he does native prayer every day, and he's a rainbow warrior too, just like you and I. But he's
Beautiful.
a original member of Truth Table, and he does come on once in a while when he can. But he's praying like crazy, trying to heal and do the same thing you're doing, which is really amazing that God kind of put all these people together
Yeah,
into
absolutely.
my life in the last 5 years. It's just like even Chloe, yeah, Cleo. I have to admit, I think I have a crush on her, but she's also a rainbow warrior, I believe, and she's hopeful that the world will get better. Do you have any hope for the future? Do you think that there's hope? Because I
Hope
get black.
is
Yeah.
forgive me for speaking my level of how I interpret the word hope. For me, hope is quite a weak word. We don't need hope.
Yeah.
What
No,
it's
you're right.
important to visualize what we want to see in the world, and it begins with self first. Okay,
It's
now
true. Hope is the lead. You're
yeah,
right.
I mean, I don't want to show off or anything. Like I say to people, I'd love to meet Elon Musk and they say, "You're not the richest man in the world. I'm the richest man." Because for me, defining what rich means is how much peace you can create in a little area, and because you don't want to desecrate. For me, everything is sacred. So how
Yeah.
you treat it, your intention, your purity is based on what you visualize every day in every way. So again, the nucleus is not to impose on every level, you know, and especially emotional levels, and this spiritual war that's going on at the moment. And I see, and there's so much division there as well, and there's competition. Another thing that Activator does not do, and it's been the hallmark of what I've achieved in life, and I'm very grateful that I've never really intentionally hurt anyone. Unintentionally, yes, I have hurt a few people along my path, but not intentionally. I didn't wake up in the morning, right, I'm going out there to hurt people today. Yeah. But sometimes you will say something that will trigger, that will trespass in some shape or form. But as people, I say to people, try to come and share space with me. Don't judge a book by its cover. But by the way, as you're showing the website, my beautiful son, I love him to bits, rightly so, and he's the backbone of Activator, and he's in the process of updating our website at the moment because I've just launched a book as well that people will have access to, and we've set up a guardianship radio as well, which I'm working with a beautiful brother in Crete. His name is Yuri, and he's helping write some beautiful lyrics and music together. Which, Paul, I love your background as well, if I may say so as well. Your um, music is much welcomed as well. So I genuinely believe that for me, it's always been food for my soul. You know, life without music is rather empty. So, and also raising the frequency aspects is things like I love animals, dogs, cats, having them around. They're such angelic beings. To some, they can teach you how to love. So I
I agree.
encourage. Yeah, you agree?
Dogs teach basically the kind of love that the creator would have for us, unconditional love, loyalty, um, the kind of love a parent would have for their child. No matter you know, how many bad decisions they make, you will always, wish the best for them and hope for them, even though that's a weak word, but hope for the best, that they find happiness and love and all the things that the creator really put us here for is to procreate and to experience that love and bond between father child, mother child, and it's a gift. It really is. But what we're doing is also a gift. Like my music, this song playing in the background is just live. It wasn't
Thanks.
written on paper. It was just live, and it's in 432 hertz. The frequency before they changed it, so it can heal you and help your DNA and everything. So it is a sub. What would you call that? It's like a subliminal healing. It's
Hmm.
a anti evil. Not anti evil, but a secretive blessing.
Yeah, no, I love the word blessing. And you're very blessed, brother, to have that ability to master such beautiful tone. And you do have a beautiful way you conduct yourself as well. I'm just really honored that a man of your caliber is here on the planet, because you're certainly a very powerful catalyst as well. Like beautiful guest Jesse, who I'm sure is still watching us. Hi, Jesse. So, and you know, we'll just build on what is around us, brother.
Yep.
Gratitude. I mean, I'm excited. I'm happy to know that people like yourselves, and I've got a whole list of names. I can say they've been, I mean, amazing mentors for me to come thus far, on the planet, because I owe it to my parents as well, my beautiful partner, Katerina, my son, John, my beautiful cat, Fred. And I'm so blessed to have such beautiful, powerful warriors, beautiful beings of light on the planet. And I just want to thank everyone for doing their part in
Hmm.
this amazing, unprecedented time. What we're doing is, I feel, has never happened before, where this planet is going to shift to a very high level of consciousness, where we won't see hospitals anymore, and cemeteries and schools and
And most
governments.
importantly, tears. No more
Yeah,
tears. No more death.
yeah, painful, sad. Yeah, I understand the word
I
here.
love your site, though. I just love your site. It's just really well done, and it's just so positive. I've linked the website to all my Rumble,
Oh,
YouTube,
thanks.
Facebook, so people can find you. It's right in the chat if anyone wants to know. I want you to go there, check it out, donate, help this beautiful cause. The cause is you, because you matter. You all matter. You were all equally valuable. No matter what anyone tells you, if they don't tell you you're equally valuable, they're lying to you right up front, because you do have value. You are important, and we all have flaws. Not one of us is perfect, and that's the beginning. Accepting ourselves for, and loving your enemy. It's not easy. I know it was very difficult for me, but the best way to practice is to start with the person in the mirror.
You said it, Paul, and it begins with taking, like I said, to be taking ownership, and not expecting others to do it for you. I genuinely believe that taking the responsibility of finding the strength from within, and I must say, we use this word prayer. Prayer is has been in the forefront of my day. Begins with thank you for the opportunity for me to use this amazing biological computer. It's a gift to use it wisely. And the precepts, like I said earlier, just to summarize, not to cause harm, or loss, or imposing on the freedom of others. We're not here to control anybody. And really,
No.
it's this amazing relationship with self first, because a lot of people are not having relationships with the outside world, because they don't understand the meaning of life. Once you understand the essence of who you are, what you are, and that you are a divine agent, and there is a sole purpose of your evolution. You're not an
Mhm.
accident, and know that everything has a cause and effect, but not every action because there's a saying, every action requires a certain, because it kind of ripples, and but you don't need to react. You can just be still, because I understand people, react very quickly sometimes, especially the world we're in at the moment.
Yes.
Um, it's very, very challenging, and I'm just so glad that shows like yourself and with Jesse, because you know he's left a wonderful legacy, and
Oh, yes. Yeah, but sadly, all his material is gone. All that information is gone. It's just so sad. The only thing I can find with Jesse is when he's on other people's shows or when they stream the show, like myself. I think they didn't shut me down because they don't have the followers. Therefore, I'm not as much of a threat, you know. But
again,
my prayer
yeah,
is just that the show is seen by the right people. I don't need 1,000 people. I just want God to make sure the right people hear the right information. Like I'm just putting my faith
yeah,
in
no,
that.
I'm not going to say I disagree with what you just said, Paul, but and just to generalize, not that I'm going to tread on a toe, but the thing is, again, we have to be careful. And I'm fallible. I'm not saying what you said is out of alignment, but it's what we energize. Okay.
Yep.
And we say right people, the wrong people. Again, we're working with division. So,
Hmm.
but I understand what I like to say is one of the reasons why I went into what I'm doing right now is because I'm here to help the average person. The
Hmm.
average person that makes up the vast percentage of the world's population is demoralized,
Yes.
separate,
Hmm.
um, and there is a vast percentage they're depressed, and well, they're in luck because we have solutions. And the thing is to come and to show up and to share space
Yep.
with authentic people. Authenticity is so powerful, brother, that it will alkaline things that are artificial implants. They will not hold any form of energy because it's mimicking the real Rolex watch. It's not. It looks pretty good, but it's a fake. So the original copy of who you are, I say copy, but you know what I'm trying to say. It's like it's a template that
Hmm.
was created with your divine mother and father, and so that's the blueprint that you hold within, and that's the impressions, signatures, markers that you're leaving everywhere you go. So guess what? You're raising the consciousness everywhere you go. And I don't need to use for words. Words, like I said earlier, it has limitations. And people can be easily fooled as well, saying, "Oh, I love you, I love you." Which one is real? I love you, I love you, I love. How do you know they're telling the truth? So you the activation that takes place so that you can differentiate the difference between what is real and what is fake. And like I said, you don't need to destroy something that's fake. It just won't stick. It's that simple. So it's simplified divine law. So it's these practices are quite sacred. So a lot of what Bioactivator does, I don't teach anything to anyone. I'm just helping the process for you to remember who you are, if that makes sense. You know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah. I agree. I agree. And you're right. You see, these are little habits I have, eh? I only want to reach the people that need to hear the message. But you're right. I do leave everyone else out when I say that, and I don't want to do that. I think I fear having too many followers because then they're gonna, do what they did to Jesse. They would just shut me down, and I think the message is so important. I'm trying to um, self-preservation, because I believe in what we do, what we're doing is valuable. It has value, and
I feel that perfection is a funny thing because what Jesse's doing right now, he's kind of refueling at the moment, is where he's absorbing, he's taking in all that's happening, he's processing everything. And when Jesse and we spoke a little bit, he said he wanted to spend some time as well because it looked what he was doing. It was like a marathon. It was like I just
a show every day or multiple shows. There's a few that I know like that. They're
I'm
just
not saying he would have burned himself out, but there could have been a blessing in disguise here. So
mhm,
the temptation is always there to look at this side and ignore
mhm.
that. But we need to see the totality of everything. And I know that a lot, and there was a time I was like this. I only picked the things that I was comfortable with. I didn't want to
Yeah.
see the things, and I understand why people do that. Again, we need to come out of this survival mode attitude and know that you're the richest person on the planet because it's how much peace you create. That's
Well, in
the
that
real.
case, I'm buying dinner. Sorry.
I mean, but
Can't help myself.
it's a massive game changer because nobody taught me how. I'm not saying that I do regression or anything like that. There's
Mhm.
nothing magical or mystical about doing regression. The ultimate thing to do is create an atmosphere where people can chill out.
Yeah.
They can chill and be themselves and say,
Yes.
right, take your shoes off if you want to. Take your
Mhm.
shirt off if you want to. I just want you to be yourself. And then
Authenticity.
when you do that, guess what? Things will begin to surface and you'll start
Mhm.
telling me what's wrong with you. I won't ask what's wrong with you. I don't see there's anything wrong with you. I don't label you as a good person, a bad person, a
Right.
black, but just just to home in the truth a bit more is in order to know the essence of something, you experience its opposing polarity. So what we're saying, in not so many words, to know sweet, we experience sour.
Mhm.
So, but then the thing is to bring the two hemispheres into balance. you
Yes.
know,
Yep.
not to do too much of that turbulent stuff. Just to try to keep it fairly steady and smooth, and then just go up like that. And then but as you're going up, guess what? People are going up with you.
Yes.
So that
That's what we
again,
want.
that's the name of the game, and
Yeah.
that
Yep.
and it is a game in so many ways. But I play the game not to win or lose in a way that I need to compete because as you get to know me, I'm not a value destroyer. I'm a value builder. And what Bioactivator does is it helps people to save time, money, and energy because
Mhm.
it because at the end of the day, to know thyself, there is no quick fix or a lazy way of doing certain things. However, when you share space with someone who is activated and who is aligned, it's hard not to get contaminated in the most
Mm.
profound positive way. And
Yes,
and
it's just like someone laughing. If someone's laughing and it's addictive and everyone starts laughing. Even in a dentist office where everyone's dead serious and dreading when they get called. But that's the same kind of thing where yeah, laughter. I can't believe we were over an hour.
thank you so
Um,
uh,
I'm almost certain we're gonna have to do a few shows if
you
that's
too.
okay with you. I would like to
Yeah,
have you back because I
yeah.
think we're just scratching the surface, but we did
And
get a lot of information out that I think is important.
thank you so much, Paul. And sending all people of Canada, my heartfelt love and sending you all big, big, big hugs from Austria. I will be in 2 weeks' time. I'll be back in Bulgaria. I'm not native Bulgarian. I don't belong to a particular country, but I've lived there for over 10 years. And I love the people there and I love everything about Bulgaria. So I'll be back in Bulgaria. And then I'll be coming to Canada. No, I'd love to. There's places I haven't been, but I would love to visit one day as well. But until
That would be
then,
nice. I wouldn't
for,
recommend it, but that would be nice to see you.
uh, bless
The-
you so. And I'd love to see Jesse as well one day, and Angeline and yourself, and sending our beautiful viewers out there big hugs, and really appreciate all that everyone is doing and collaborating with this wonderful time of great change. Because I'm really upbeat about the what's going to happen in the next couple of months. I'm holding
Mhm.
space for phenomenal positive changes, brother. And thank you
Yep.
for the opportunity to be on your beautiful show, and really appreciate the truth table and what it stands for. It really is in alignment with my heart. Thank you so much.
Yes, and you're aligned with me as well. And I thank you for the kind words. Um, I think it would be great to have Jesse and Angeline with you on a show. I think that would be interesting. Um,
Absolutely.
I might give him a little break though, let him have some time off
Yeah.
and do some healing. I mean, the guy had his legs separated from his body. I mean, my God, and he's walking. So I mean, he's a miracle right now. But I
Yeah.
think he's Angeline is like an angel. That I'm sure she is very helpful with the hard parts, and because she's got kind of a natural healing. She's a little bit like you know. You're kind of that way too. Your website is all based on the healing and raising frequencies and positive energy, and I love it.
Thank
But
you so much.
thank you so much for coming on the show, and I look forward to having you back again. And I look forward to being on your show and being your guest. And we'll have to work that out and set it up. And thank you so much, everyone. Thank you at home for watching the show and joining us on the Truth Table, episode 84.